Okay, welcome back to the Adventure Within channel. My name is Andrew Fritz. I'm a clairvoyant healer and meditation teacher. And in this video, I'd like to talk about becoming your own man and fulfilling purpose, really being the modern man on a spiritual path. And a part of that really requires examining or taking a look at your relationship with your father. We've all heard that phrase, like father, like son, where the son really is almost very much like the father. And, you know, we can see it. One good example of this, and it's nothing necessarily against military. It's just something that I've kind of seen, and I'm sure once I describe it, people go, "Oh, okay, I know what he's talking about." And so it's about the military, where you have certain families or family lines where you go back to the great 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 grandfather, and this that person was in some sort of battle and this war or whatever, and this grandfather was in this particular war and that battle and this branch of the military, and so it's almost like everybody down the line, at least in the men, are all in the military and have served in different ways, and then it comes down to you, and then this might be this pressure or expectation that you're going to fall in line, that you're going to just do what all the men previously have done. You're going to do the same thing. And for some people that might work for them. Maybe that's their mock-up and that really works. But for some other people, it might not. It might not be really what they're here to do. Yet they're still having to deal with this pressure and all these expectations, probably before they were even born, and maybe amplified as they were starting to become an adult. That there's this expectation that, oh, you're gonna join the military, pick a branch, or oh, it has to be this branch because the other, I was in this branch, the father says, or whatever it might be. There's that expectation. And so really having to take a look and go, oh, okay, this is how my father did it. And this is just an example. There's many other examples, right? But you can look at your father, you can even look at his father, and you can kind of go back and you can kind of get a sense of, okay, this is generally how the men kind of in the family line have done it. But I don't, that's not really for me. And so, it can be easy to fight back against that, to push back, to resist that. And that's, from what I've learned in life, it doesn't really get you anywhere. It just usually makes things worse, is what I find. So actually having a little neutrality, a little amusement of just going, oh, okay, yeah, that's the way they done it. And, sure, they expect that and kind of there's that pressure being put on me to do that, but you have free will. You don't have to do that. And so not being so focused on, oh, this is what they want, but I don't want to do that. And not being focused on that, but starting to kind of take a look at, well, what do I want to do? If that's not what I want to do, then what direction would I like to go? And that's exciting when you start to shift your focus and attention to that. And some people kind of have a immediate knowing of that. And then it becomes this whole thing of, okay, well, how do I begin? What do I do? And sometimes we can kind of get hung up on, um, these perfect pictures in our mind about, before I can start, it has to be these certain conditions and all of that. And really what I've found is sometimes you just gotta just go, just start, just one step forward. And it could be as simple as that, and things will start to unfold. But we can easily kind of get stuck where we're not even taking the step for different reasons. Um, and so some people already know kind of what they would like to do, but maybe there's some fear and some uncertainty about doing that. Um, and then there's people that have no clue. Oh, I'm aware that this is how the men in my family have done it. I don't want to do that, but I don't really even know what it is I'm here to do. And that can be kind of a tough situation, but I also see that's a really fun and exciting space to be because now it's about exploration. You're exploring kind of yourself and your interests. And I find that, um, meditation is a wonderful way in discovering yourself and discovering your energy and what your interests are, what you have an affinity for, what your passion is, and ultimately what it is you're here to accomplish. What is your purpose? What did you come here to do and to fulfill? And and one way you can do that in meditation is through using the psychic ability or soul ability. Just psychic means soul, soul ability. And it's one that we all have. It's not for the select few. Everybody's got it. And it's that sixth chakra ability called clairvoyance or clear seeing. And it's your ability to see yourself, others in the world very clearly, and with neutrality, where you're not in judgment. It's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. It just is. And with this clairvoyant ability, you can see and read energy. Everything is energy. And this is when you start to open this up and develop this. This is quite the advantage when a lot of people haven't really been able to tap into this, might not even be aware of it, or might discredit or dismiss it or invalidate it even. And so actually I find that it's quite the advantage of being able to have this turned on. And you can start to see colors, you can start to see symbols, you can start to see mental image pictures. It's all energy and it's all information. And especially when you see an image, a picture is worth 1,000 words. We've all heard that phrase, and there's some truth to that because you can really unpack a lot of information from one little still shot. And, when you go to look at what it is you're here to do, and you see it clearly, and then, the light bulb goes on, you go, whoa, and you're going to light up in this amazing way. And because you're now seeing and becoming aware of your purpose, of your mission here, and about what it is you're here to do in this body life, this incarnation, and it's your original intention that you set up previously being born. And sometimes we fall asleep at the wheel. We forget that. And it's very easy down here, this big dream we're in. It's very much like your sleeping dreams. Sometimes we have a dream and it can seem so real, and sometimes it's amazing. And when we wake up, we wish we could go back to that. And sometimes it could be a nightmare. And when we wake up in bed, we're like, thank God, I'm out of that. That wasn't real. But when you're in it, it seems absolutely so real. And it's very much like here, having this body on this planet. It's this kind of big, big dream that we're in. And it's a matter of waking up and realizing, oh, wow, okay, I'm not my physical body. I'm this very creative, spiritual, limitless, eternal, and timeless being. And becoming aware of that and becoming aware of, hey, well, what is this lifetime for me all about? And that might not have anything to do with your programming or the energy or the pictures that the men in your family have really pushed on you. And this is what happens when we don't really lean in or dive into exploring kind of our interests and our passions and who we are and what we're here to do. When we don't really get into that and we're just solely focused on, this is what the people in my family, especially the men, expect me to do and how to operate and the jobs I'm supposed to be in and all this stuff. And you go down the road with that, and suddenly you feel unfulfilled. You might even be angry. You might be pissed off. You might be depressed, and something doesn't feel right. But it's just, shit, this is just the way things are, right? I just got to deal with this because this is what everyone else does, right? Um, and that can cause problems. And then, suddenly you find yourself drinking too much or whatever it is. We have all these different ways of numbing ourselves, different ways to cope with situations in our life that just, man, this isn't going the way I really was hoping for. And so I actually see turning on your soul abilities as quite the advantage, especially your clairvoyance, because you can see and become aware, oh, wait a second, this is my father's energy, or this is kind of the general energy of the men in my family. Oh, wow, okay, that's interesting. And then you can start to look at, well, what is yours? Because sometimes when you're going about your life, it might just feel that, okay, this is the way I'm feeling, this is what's happening. It just seems like it's your energy. And sometimes actually you kind of wake up and realize, oh, wait a second, the way I've kind of been operating, this isn't even really me or my energy. Oh, this is my father's. Oh, this is the men in the family that I've just kind of taken on and assumed that this was my energy or almost my identity, if you will. And so that can be a total relief to be able to go, oh, okay, I knew something was a little off. Oh, that's definitely not even me. Wow, okay. And then you start to explore in the other direction. If that's not me, if that's not my energy, who am I? And you can look at that on many different levels, but you can start to see what does your energy look like, even just your masculine energy. How is your masculine energy different from your father's masculine energy? And that can be incredibly amazing to see that because then you go, wow, okay. Anytime you see your energy, you're gonna be light up and you're gonna be really ecstatic and happy to see that. You'll be drawn towards it. And then it's just a self-discovery process of, okay, this is now I'm starting to see this. And the more you see it clearly over and over, you start to develop a sense of certainty because now it's, oh, okay, I've seen my energy so much. Now I'm certain that's my energy. And when you have that sense of certainty, you can differentiate much easier when you're encountered with other people's energy, or something comes up, and oh, okay, that's not even my energy because I'm very certain about what my energy is now. And that's a really empowering place to be in your life when you really know your energy so much you have this sense of certainty about it. And it's very difficult for other people's energy and influences to really impact you. You might notice it, but you can easily kind of, nah, I can let that be. I can let that go because I know myself. I know my energy. And you start to graduate to this level of seniority that you're really choosing your energy as number one. You're choosing your energy to set the tone. And what if your energy, again, everything's energy. What if your energy is setting the tone for just one part of your life? Just one part. And how would that part of your life change? What would that part of your life start to look like? And what happens? And then you think about multiple parts of your life. We're talking about your sense of safety or your ability to provide for yourself. We're talking about on an emotional level or how you go about doing things in life and taking action, how you relate to people, how you relate to men, how you relate to women, your havingness for love, loving yourself, or just love in general, with people or friends and all that kind of thing. How do you communicate? What is your communication like? It can be about how you see things. Maybe you see things in a different way, and much more, right? So there's all these different levels. And yeah, what would if your energy was setting the tone, kind of head to toe, so to speak? Wow, what would your life look like? And that's exciting to even just kind of meditate on and also to become aware of. Wow, okay. And it might look dramatically different from maybe where you're currently at. And that's okay because then you go, oh, okay, I have something to grow towards. And it's really an inward journey. It's not about trying to shift and rearrange things outside of yourself. It's this inner game. It's you turning your attention within and learning to meditate, learning to work with energy, having an energy awareness, and you can start to learn to deprogram yourself of kind of the hidden images in our mind that we're usually unconscious to, and kind of deprogram out other people's energies that affect us and influence us and actually really dictate different levels of our reality and different levels of consciousness. And when you start to become aware of that, you can't really do much when you're unconscious of it. So it really does require you to turn within and you'll start to become aware of it. You'll hit the unconsciousness and work through it. And then you start to become aware of all these things I just mentioned. The images in your mind, the other people's energy, and you'll start to let it go. That's what death is, right? When we think of death, we think that it's just about the final moment of life, right? Where we just, um, we physically have a death and then that's that. And yeah, that's a death, sure. But it's a letting go of the physical body. That's really what that type of death is. But you can experience many deaths, especially when you're on your spiritual path, when you're really learning to meditate and going deeper into your meditation practice. Letting go of someone else's energy or letting go, especially letting go of these images in your mind And I talk a lot about that on this YouTube channel. So if this is like right up your alley and it's something you're interested in, feel free to subscribe for sure. I offer talk about different topics and offer guided meditations, and you can check out all the homepage and all the different playlists that we have here. But yeah, you start to wake up to what is not you and what the lies and illusions are, and you start to empty that out and to release that out, and you create space for yourself and your energy, and your body's going to run best on your energy. I noticed that anytime in my life when things aren't working, usually something's stuck, right? Or I'm running on someone else's energy, and man, this doesn't seem right. It seems like you're living a part of your life as if it's not even really your own. And so being able to let that go and become aware of your essence and really bring that in and really be here. A lot of the times when things aren't going well, we want to further separate ourselves because this ain't going well, and I don't really want to feel this, and I just like to kind of separate myself out and just kind of get through this life because man, this is not so fun. And when you start to make your descent and your return back really to the body and incorporating more of yourself and your energy here, that's really empowering because now you're here. Now you're present. Now your energy is present, and your energy can be in flow and in movements, and that's when you're a dangerous man. That's when you're really powerful. And I don't mean dangerous like you're going to go out and be a terrorist. That's not what I mean. But dangerous in a way that it's not about power over other people or control over others. It's your personal power. That you have this sense of power that you feel empowered, that you can really use that energy, that creative power that you have always, and that you can use it to transform different parts of your life. And that benefits you, but then that's going to benefit even other people because then you're becoming this lighthouse to other people. People are starting to see you change and shift, and wow, you're starting to have success and whatever success means to you, right? It could be different for each person. It doesn't have to be this standard societal definition of success, right? Whatever success means for you, and people are going to go, "Whoa, yo, how did you do that?" And you're almost becoming kind of an inspiration to other people, and that's how it happens. But we have to take these steps, and I find that it's really helpful to learn to meditate, to turn within, and we can start to use our different abilities to heal ourselves and discover ourselves. And we can use these abilities such as clairvoyance to see where we're stuck and how to navigate that, how to work through that and see, okay, well, what's my next step now? I see that I'm stuck, and yeah, that feels very real. We all know what that feels like, but then we can start to look at, well, what's the next step? And no, then it's a matter of can you trust your intuition? You're kind of listening to it, then you trust it. And so you trust it. Once you trust it, you can take action. Because it takes a little while for you to get a sense of having some certainty and trust in spirit, trusting yourself that you'll actually follow through. And you'll take that next step and you'll get unstuck wherever you're blocked, one or different parts of your life. And then what's on the other side of that? What changes? What do you get to have? And that's the awesome thing is you get to see that process from a clairvoyant perspective. Okay, I see I'm stuck. Here's the block. Here's what a next step looks like, what I would have to do. And then you get to see what's on the other side. If I actually follow through and take the next step, what's on the other side of it? And you get to be aware of that whole process. And that's one thing, you being aware of it, right? But then it's you actually, okay, you've seen it. Now are you actually going to do it? And it takes some time to, just because in our society, spirit tends to get invalidated. Intuition, psychic abilities tends to get really dismissed, discredited, invalidated. And so learning to regain your sense of certainty and validate spirit and trust it so that you can actually take action and follow through with that. Because we already know what it feels like when we're just kind of going through life, we're just following programming and this is how, my father did it or this person did it, and I'll just do it that way. But why do I feel unfulfilled? And it might be that you're not in alignment with your calling, your higher self. And when you learn to meditate, you can really start to get in touch with that part of yourself. And it is a process, it is a journey. It's not this overnight thing. And it is challenging, but it is highly rewarding when you come out the other end and go, okay, now I actually have a sense of certainty and trust in myself that I can actually, when I see this is my next step, I can follow through on it. And, oh, okay, maybe now you have a sense of, at this point, I know what I want to do here with my life. And you can start to take the steps towards that. And yeah, there might be some fear, there might be some uncertainty and doubt starting the journey or just in different parts of that journey. That's going to happen for sure. But by that point, hey, I have a good sense of myself and my energy, and you know what you're here to do. And it's just a matter of staying true to that. Just whether there's, stormy days and you're out in the sea and it's kind of rough, that's going to happen. There's going to be days where it's, sunny and shining, and there's going to be days where it's a little unpleasant, at least weather-wise, right? And it's just a matter of, okay, I'm just going to stay true. I'm just going to be in alignment with that, the God of my heart, that personal North Star of yours, that parental aspect of your soul, and that part. If you stay in touch with it, will guide you to fulfill kind of your purpose in this lifetime. And that's really what we're all kind of aiming to do. It's just most people are unconscious of it, don't know really how to go about even, discovering that. But I find meditation and working with your psychic abilities is a really helpful way to becoming aware of that and discovering that. And so this is just one thing to look at when becoming your own man and being on your spiritual path is looking at your relationship with your father. That's just one part of it, and that's a big one, right? And then there's also kind of looking at your relationship with your mother. Um, and we'll save that for another video. Anyway, if you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe. You can check out any of the links below in the description to check out our website. We offer psychic readings, energy healings, classes, different meditation classes, and different psychic trainings, such as where you get to learn clairvoyance. Hopefully this was entertaining and helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.